So, Blackish is a show I wanted to explore a bit on my YouTube channel because not only is it humorous, but the perspective is very accurate when it comes to the American Black family. Race does play an important role in the show, but it does a really good job centering around the 3 generations of Johnsons and how they experience life living in America. It shows the difference between how the baby boomer grandparents and Gen X parents experience America different from their Generation Y children who grew up in an upper middle class environment. And as a millennial, it's one of the first shows I've ever watched that I could really relate to. Since it is election time, I wanted to go back and review their episode called Lemons. Right when Trump was elected president in 2016, Blackish did a really good job reflecting the reality of what our country looked like in terms of people's views about the election. Unlike the one of 2 viewpoints 99% of our news media likes to show. So let me paint you a picture. The show starts with Trump winning the election and Hillary losing. Dre, the father, a loyal Democrat like the rest of his family, is upset about losing, but not as upset as everyone at his job. Usually in an episode of Blackish, Dre is always upset about something, and everyone else is usually pretty calm. But in this episode, everything flips around. So, let's review what Blackish has to say about the viewpoint of Americans after Trump wins the election. When the office finds out that the middle-aged white Republican boss didn't vote for Trump, they were shocked. He didn't get why they were shocked, because Trump wasn't a traditional conservative. He was unfamiliar, an outsider. He was part of Hollywood. Trump running for president was a complete joke. The fact that Blackish portrayed Dre's boss as a Hillary voter isn't too far-fetched. Oftentimes, Dre refers to his boss as a racist. They even noted that him employing illegal immigrants a motivation to not vote for Trump, since Trump's plan was to deport illegal immigrants, revealing that a rich white man could vote for Hillary for his own evil reasons. So the office decides to, instead of work, they should find out who to blame for Hillary losing. Dre's boss stands up and blames
the blacks. You just can't give us that capital B.
Because black people didn't come out for Clinton the way they came out for Obama. It's obviously their fault. I think a lot of people assumed that blacks were going to come out the same way they did for Obama. As the old saying goes, the first black president was actually Bill Clinton. And yes, black people loved Bill Clinton. And yes, a lot of people did vote for Obama because of his skin color. Blacks and whites. But that doesn't mean people will vote for any black person. People saw voting for him as a symbol of ending racism. But that doesn't mean people will vote for any black person. The truth is, a lot of black people weren't happy about Obama's presidency. A lot of them expected he would do more for the black community. And yes, most black people will only vote Democrat, just like most white conservatives will only vote Republican. But for blacks, if they don't like you, they won't vote at all. The media likes to talk about black votes now because of how they didn't come out for Hillary. But it's really hard to be excited to vote when you know it really won't change much about your life. The next group of people they wanted to blame for Hillary not winning was
white. Hold on one damn minute now.
Women.
Let's hear her out, guys. I think she's got something to say.
53% of white women voted for Trump, even after his grab them by the remark. And the only white woman at the meeting was one of them. People were confused because white women are the loudest when it comes to women's empowerment. So how can most white women vote for Trump if he's framed as the poster child for misogyny? Dre's coworker explained that she did want a female president. She just didn't want Hillary. The fact Hillary was a woman didn't mean she would vote for her. She felt like she couldn't trust Hillary because she couldn't tell what she was about. She loved Obama and voted for him twice, but explaining,
I'm not some crazy right-wing nut, you guys. I voted for Obama twice. I even got my Republican parents to vote for him. He felt different. I believed he was going to change stuff. He did. But it's 8 years later. My dad's still out of work. My hometown's about to go under. And Hillary comes out saying she's basically going to keep everything the same. I'm sorry, but that doesn't work for me or my family.
And regardless of that, people felt like her vote should have been more about other people and not her family. But unfortunately, people will always vote based on their own interests. I think for a lot of white people, this view is pretty accurate on why they may have voted for Trump. As everyone's been talking about losing the election, Dre is the only one who's trying to focus on work because he isn't as upset as everyone else. He's looked at as if he doesn't even care. When you get caught up on watching the news, you forget that there aren't just two viewpoints. Everyone is different, and although they may have voted the same as you, it may not be for the same reasons. And their silence doesn't mean they don't care. Dre uses this as an opportunity to really educate his colleagues about the hopelessness they feel isn't new for him. And because he, as a Black American, was used to not getting his way, he still had love for this country. Yes, it sucks to have someone in office you believe isn't looking out for your best interests. It's scary. I remember when Obama was running for president, and the right thought that he was a terrorist and that he was going to replace our democracy with Sharia law. But it didn't happen. Now Trump is president. And everyone believed that women's pussies were going to get grabbed, and things would be like how America used to be in the 50s, where sexist and racist laws thrived, which didn't happen either. Yet, regardless of Trump being president, Dre had this.
Do I understand what anybody in their right mind could have seen in Trump? No. But maybe that's why we lost. Over 50 million people felt something. And I'm not saying that they were right, but I don't think it's possible that all, half, or even most of them were nuts or racist.
4 years later, we're more divided because we refuse to have these conversations. Instead of asking why, we disassociate with family and friends. Instead of hearing the other viewpoint, we refuse to listen at all because it doesn't match our viewpoint. Media is very powerful and it's great for being informed. But if we use it to replace our own minds for making decisions, instead of talking to our neighbors, if we let media that can only thrive out of our fears to continue to divide us, how are we going to really know what's going on if we don't hear the other side? If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe for more.